Now, what we're going to do now is carry on with our Master System II mod. So, as I was showing you just a minute ago, I was getting the sockets installed. So here we are. We've got our S-Video, we've got our 50 and 60 Hz switch, we've got our composite, and we've got our left and right stereo sockets. So as you can see, I tend to mount these in the bottom half, so that way you can still lift the lid on and work on it if you need to. And all we're going to do now is get our wiring hung up and attached onto our sockets, and then that's it. Time to play some cool 8-bit games. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to route the cable sort of over the top towards the back here. If I can, I'll actually try and tuck it underneath these sockets, and I'm going to bring it over to this this empty section here, and in here is where I'm going to put any capacitors and resistors, and the S-Video amplifier that we've got to build. I'm going to put all that in here. Okay, so we're just looking down at our the two sockets we're going to use for our audio output. Now, normally I'd call them left and right, and usually I do, but to be honest, with the Master System, it's got mono sound, so left, right, what's the difference? They're both the same. Now, you can use, you can just add, if you're trying to save on sockets, just add one socket, but if you're like me and you don't like to use splitters and you want both the speakers and your TV to be going, you'll see here that I've got the green wire that I used for my my audio out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach that to the centre pin on both these sockets. So I'm just going to link them together internally. So it's effectively the same as using a splitter, but it just saves you having something untidy hanging out the back of your poor machine. So just attach it to the two centre pins. You can see I've threaded it through, and what I'll do is just put a bit of solder in here just to get that to stay in place. And try not to put too much heat into these sockets, because a lot of them, there's only sort of plastic separating them, so if you get them too hot they will actually melt and sort of warp a bit. But there we go. Right, so all we need to do is hook up our ground, but we'll do that later when we do the composite and everything. So that's our audio hookup done. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come along with the black wire, and I'm just going to thread that through all of these RCA sockets, as well as I'm going to get it attached to the S-Video socket. Now, if you're going to do a common ground sort of thing like I am, because at the end of the day the whole machine runs off a common ground, so and it's not as if you've got 20 metres of cable in here either, so really there isn't an advantage for running separate grounds for everything. But anyway, if you're going to do this, just one little tip, just so your wires don't fray, is you'll see that on the very end of the cable there I've just put just a little wee bit of solder, just so it actually keeps it together, just so I can thread it through a bit easier. And all I do is I thread it down through one, and I'll just get that down through. I'm going to have quite a bit of slack here to cut off and finish. So down through one and then up through the next one. And you don't want to, you know, pull this really tight or anything, but you want to make sure that it's sort of firm and not going to be touching anything else. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but I've just gone and got the ground hooked up for the S-Video. So pretty much everything's in place now and ready to go. And it honestly doesn't look that pretty, having a ground wire running across like that, but it works perfectly. And all we need to do is just add a little bit of hot glue or in my case I'm probably going to put some heat shrink over the ends so that there's no chance of anything shorting out, and yeah, that's the ground done. So now we can carry on and get the last few bits sorted out. Okay, so we're just going to get our composite video ready. So if you remember, I used the yellow wire for the composite video, and I've got here a 75 ohm resistor, and what I'm going to do is just twist these two together so that way the wire actually holds my resistor for me, which is awesome if you weren't born with 5 hands. And just add some solder. Excellent. Now on the other side of that leg, we need to add our 220 microfarad capacitor, and as always, remember that the oh, where's some focus? There we are. That the negative leg goes out to the video socket. So on the end of your yellow wire with our resistor, we're going to add the longest leg, which is our positive leg, onto that, and then our negative leg is going to carry on out to our socket. And again, we'll just bend that round, and there we go. It's all sort of joined together, and now we can just put a heat shrink up and over the whole lot, and that way it keeps it nice and safe. Heat our heat shrink up. As we've got our piece of yellow wire, that's going to go out to the centre pin on our composite socket, and you can see I'm just going to twist the wire on just so it sort of holds in place, and then I'll just add a little bit of solder to that. And I can trim off the excess, straighten it back out, and then just slide some heat shrink back down over that. So I'm just going to attach this yellow wire just to the centre of my composite socket. Just give it a little twist around like that. Just attach some solder to that. Heat shrink down over that, just like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put our little amp together. So what we're going to do is this leg here, we're going to use that for our 5 volts in. This leg, the centre leg, that's where our luma is going to go, and this last leg here we're going to attach a 27 ohm resistor and have that feed out to the luma pin on the S-video socket. Just get our 5 volts attached here. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to get our luma wire attached just to the centre leg of the NPN transistor. That's that. And now we need to do is just attach a 27 ohm resistor to this leg, and then carry a white wire on out to our socket. Right, so we'll just attach the 27 ohm resistor just to the last leg. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just with the end of our 27 ohm resistor, just going to snip that off. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little bit of, add my white wire back onto the end of that, which is going to carry on out to my socket. So, let's quickly heat that up. Okay, so that's the luma circuit built. Now we just need to quickly do a chroma one. Okay, so our blue wire, which went off to pin 15, is our chroma wire, and for this we're just going to twist on a 75 ohm resistor. So our positive leg there, I'm just going to twist it on. Just a little bit, we don't want to break anything. Add some solder. Bring that back around and straighten it out a bit. And slide our heat shrink over the whole lot. And that makes it nice and safe. And this leg here, I'm just going to add a short length of blue cable again, which is going to go out to the other side of our S-video socket. So all we need to do now is just attach it to the socket, and that's our S-video done, and we're actually finished the machine at that point. Okay, so the last thing we need to do now is just attach our wires to the S-video socket, and we're just attaching it, not that you can see very well because of the angle, and it's starting to get quite busy looking in here, but yeah, we just need to attach these video wires. So a good friend of mine once gave me a tip to help me remember where things go. Which is that the loomer goes on the left. So that's when you're looking at the back of the socket. So loomer onto the left, and then chroma onto the right. It's funny what sticks in your mind. Loomer left just seem to gel. So that's with those attached. We can just put our heat shrink on and give that a quick bit of heat, and then give it a test. Okay guys, so as you can see, sort of it's quite busy in here, but you know, our mods are all done. What I've done is I've just gone back and just put a bit of hot glue in, just so my capacitors and my wiring and that's also secured in place and isn't going to float around anywhere. Got our sockets all fitted on the back there, and the next thing we need to do is just pretty much give it a test. Okay, so I've just sort of set the lid back on here. I've still got to come back and retension the pins in here and actually give the machine a bit of a general clean because it's a little bit grubby, but we've got our composite attached and our dual mono, or our left and right, whichever, and just turn that on. Okay, so I've just got my S-video plugged in here, and I've just unplugged the composite, and just make sure that's on the right channel. Yep. Okay, so we'll give it a test. Fantastic, all working. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you again soon.